What's up and welcome in. It takes a whole lot for me to be excited about Warlock these days. I've been basically sticking to Titan to Hunter the last several seasons, but this exotic right here, the Speaker's Sight, has kind of pulled me out of that and really drawn me over to the Warlock. I've never really liked Heat Rises, and so now I have a build on a Warlock with Heat Rises, something that if you would have told me last season I'm going to be playing a Warlock with Heat Rises, I'd say that's silly. But this build is so fun. You get abilities like crazy. First of all, we have the Speaker's Sight. The Lost Voice. Healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. While this isn't the craziest heal in the world, the strongest heal in the world, it is still pretty strong. You can't tank everything with it, but man, it sure helps in a pinch. First of all, what I want to talk about the subclass, especially with Speaker's Sight, is Heat Rises. When you consume your grenade to give you Heat Rises, it cures your teammates around you. It still puts out the turret from Speaker's Sight. So when you eat your grenade, you get Heat Rises and you get the healing turret. And then if you have Touch of Flame, you also apply restoration to your allies when you eat that grenade. So with this build, I never really throw my healing grenade. I eat it for Heat Rises and it applies restoration to everybody, and then it also spouts a turret on the ground that shoots out healing every few seconds, and that turret can spawn orbs. And then with Heat Rises in mind, I like to run Celestial Fire just because it gives you more range, especially in Grandmasters. While Incinerator Snap technically does more Scorch and does more damage, and it has a lower cooldown, I like Celestial Fire just to that range to be able to sit back to utilize Heat Rises to be in a position where I can use my melee more often. I find that when I run Incinerator Snap, I either have to be too up close and personal for my particular playstyle, or I just end up not using it. And then for the class ability, you can really go with Healing Rift or with Phoenix Dive. With Heat Rises, Phoenix Dive is really strong, but what I've found that I like the most is consuming my grenade to get Heat Rises, to heal my allies with restoration, to spawn that turret, and then also putting down the Healing Rift underneath it. It's just a crazy amount of healing. You can nearly live through anything. And then once you have all your buffs and all your heals down, you can go into your super Song of Flame and just have at it. Either using this to ability spam, which I like to do for more ad clear or champion clear or stuff like that. Also, your kinetic weapons now scorch when you're in Song of Flame. All your weapons become radiant. The other thing I like to do with this is just pop this and do a ton of boss damage because you can just stand there and tank boss hits. For the fragments, Ember of Torches for every time that you shoot your Celestial Fire, which will be a ton because with Heat Rises you get your melee back like crazy. You'll be able to make you and your allies radiant, 25% more damage for you and your teammates. Ember of Mercy, when you revive an ally, you and other nearby allies gain restoration. Picking up a fire sprite grants restoration. And so this works really well with Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. So you get more celestial fires and you create fire sprites when you scorch enemies. So when you scorch something with a celestial fire or with your kinetic weapon while you have Song of Flame, then you create a fire sprite and you get restoration from picking it up. And then from all the healing that you're doing with your Speaker Sight turret and with your Healing Rift or Phoenix Dive, you can proc Ember of Benevolence almost all the time. When you apply Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies, you get increased grenade, melee, and class ability regen. And this is really strong. This really helps with the play loop of keeping all your abilities up like crazy. And then what I found for the weapons that works really well, especially in this GM this week with Glassway, with Barrier and Overload, is Wish Ender to one-shot almost all the adds and to break through barriers. You're able to shoot through the boss's shield. Or you can use Outbreak Perfected. That's totally fine. Basically either one of those two works really well. And then for the energy weapon, with this loadout, I like running a hand cannon for overload, but if my teammates already have overload really taken care of, then I'd probably run just a disorienting grenade. For heavy, when I run Wish Ender, I really like a machine gun, just in order to really clear out a ton of adds when I need to. And then for the mods, a heavy ammo finder, a heavy ammo scout to help your teammates find more heavy ammo, and a kinetic siphon to spawn an orb when you get kills with Wish Ender or Outbreak. On the gloves, Focusing Strike grants class ability when you cause damage with a powered melee, which you're doing a ton. Impact Induction, causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. So from doing your melee, you get class and grenade. And then with Heat Rises, you're able to get your melee back really fast. And then I'm running a harmonic loader to just help with my Zawuli's Bane and fixed odds reload. And on the chest, I have 2 void resistance because it's a void threat this week, but that can change to whatever threat it is. And then a sniper resistance because I don't like the snipers in Glassway, but I would change these depending on the Grandmaster. And then for the legs, I got better already. Your health begins to regenerate after picking up an Orb of Power. And Kinetic Weapon Surge to boost my Wish Ender damage by 10%. And then Harmonic Scavenger to give me more ammo when I pick up heavy. And then on the Bond, I got a Bomber, reduced grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Powerful Attraction to collect nearby orbs when I use my class ability. and a Reaper to spawn more orbs after using my class ability. You could easily switch out Bomber for a special finisher if your teammates need special ammo. So typically what I do when I do an LFG is I'll look at their loadout. If they're using double special, I'll put on special finisher. And then an artifact, Elemental Siphon's really good. Rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or weapon matching to your equipped super creates an elemental pickup, which will be a fire sprite, which will grant you restoration. Radiant orbs, while you have solar or prismatic subclass equipped, picking up an orb of power makes you radiant. And then shield crush, while you are radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. I don't really care about the damage, but it does recharge faster. For stats on the build, resilience first, get that to 100, 30% damage reduction, super important for Grandmasters. And then discipline to make sure you can utilize Speaker Sight and get those healing turrets out as much as possible. And then after that, recovery to make sure you can put out more class abilities to make the gameplay loop just work a little bit better. I've noticed I haven't really needed to worry about getting more intellect because I get my super back pretty fast with this setup. With heat rises, you don't have to worry about your strength at all. So that's it. That's the build that's made me reconsider playing Warlock more often. It's incredibly fun just to spam all these abilities and to heal your teammates through everything. Makes your whole fire team just incredibly tanky. A whole lot less deaths for your LFG when you're running this build. If this was at all helpful to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate your time. Peace.